But when you're trying to understand the aspects themselves, there's still our basic logic appears. Half of from the conjunction. This is the key thing. The conjunction, the beginning of each cycle, beginning of the sign of zodiac is the longest night, the greatest darkness. Then the light increases up to the longest day. Then the darkness increases. The beginning of the houses is midnight, the darkest point. Then the sky, everything rises from there till noon, and then it's at the midheaven, and then sets from the midheaven back down to the IC. And with the aspects, it starts at the conjunction is the greatest darkness of the cycle, where the two planets are together, the most intense, but they're least seeable. You know, so you often one's blocking the other or not, but they're together, and that's the dark beginning. Then the energy that gets built, the impression gets made, that the conjunction is made, then that energy waxes. So like one planet, it's like one person goes, stops over at your house, gets in conjunction, and then starts moving along, and your energy starts, the energy of the two of you, each of you have been impressed by the other, and you're starting your life and moving along, and as you are, that's the waxing phase beginning. Da-da-da-da, I don't need Viagra, da-da-da, I'm going along, you know, like just you have that energy of togetherness, and you're building on, you're going, you're making things happen, you're high, you're pumped, and you push it along as far as you can until you get as far away as you can get, and you realize, I can't go on that energy anymore. Where is she? Where is he? What's happening? What's going on? You're missing the person. You're at the farthest point away. And at that point, you either say, geez, I want to go back, or say, I don't want to go back there. And things change. But planets hold their orbit more distinctly, and our energies still move distinctly, the waxing and the waning. So then at the opposition, when you realize you're far away from the conjunction, and you can see it, because it's happening when you're at the conjunction, you're not seeing it. It's just energy that's happening. At the opposition, you see where it was happening, and you're not there now. So there's an opposition, but there's an understanding that comes with the opposition, and an activity that comes with the conjunction. So the conjunction, those two planets are energizing each other according to the nature of each planet. So it's not just the planet. Yeah, so okay, with the planets. And then, but the opposition, there's, I wouldn't call it, it can be a discord, but really it's just an awakening. Whoa, that's over, the other half's over there. I'm over here. I have to understand, how do I get back, or what's happening, or this is as far as I'm going. I got to get back. I can't be this far alone. And that understanding or assessment at the opposition of how far away one is, how distinct things are, is what pulls one back into the cycle to get recharged again. So just like the daylight increasing or nighttime increasing, we have the waxing, the activity increasing, and the waning, the understanding increasing. Okay, again, this is just a review. You can go over this. We've gone over this. It's kind of an evolving review, but a lot of this information we're going to go back over in a much deeper way when we get to level 8. But this is, we're just looking at basics at simplicity. Any two planets, where are they in the cycle? Are they conjunct? Are they aware? Are they moving towards the opposition? Are they moving? Are they waning? Is it waxing? Is it waning? Primary insight. And you can see it quickly looking at one planet. Here I am. Usually you take the fastest one is the moving one around. Although the progressions, you can move it the other way. The slower one has its cycle too. But you would see where you would put one planet, say you're looking at your sun, or Mars, say Mars, and you're looking at Mercury going around and you're wondering where Mercury is, see where Mercury is, then you look exactly across the chart from where Mars is, and anything moving from where Mars is up to that opposite point is waxing. And anything moving back towards the conjunction would be waning. So you begin to see this automatic, these conjunctions, oppositions, looking across the opposite point of chart as the moon wax. Is any planet waxing, or how many planets are waxing, how many planets are waning from that planet's position? Okay, so you look and you find everything's waxing. That's a whole different chart. Everything's waning. Or it's just, you see a scramble, like the number of planets in different halves of your houses or your signs. Okay, so here we go. We have just the keywords for it. The conjunction is activity is generated. The two planetary energies are joined together and there's a certain activity. But don't forget the planetary energies are functions. They're two functions coming together. The planetary energies are also levels of consciousness. And there's two levels of consciousness relating to each other. So there's a profound, it's not just a simple one-word thing that this aspect means this. It's whole dimensions of your conscious being, of your consciousness, different layers of it that are affecting each other. Okay, and these are the first primary aspects. The conjunction is the activity, the opposition is awareness. Both of these would be considered stressful relationships. It's at the peak of stress at a conjunction. It's at a peak of awareness at the opposition. So, is this so? How would you say if it's so? You imagine it with two people. Two people get in conjunction. If it's not stressful, if there's not energy, and one person just falls asleep, there's going to be war. And like there's an aliveness, be alive. So this is the activity level. Everything from the activity to the opposition is the waxing phase, and everything in that half of the cycle is anything that happens during that phase, that half, is you consider waxing is the repercussions of activity. It's based on the activity. What happens here evolves, and there's repercussions to the type of conjunction that happens, to what evolves, to what kind of awareness results. Then likewise, if the cycle's waning, the energy is not based on the conjunction that's so far away, more than half the cycle away and coming up. It's more based on the awareness, what you concluded at the opposition, and you're seeing the repercussions of that understanding. Oh, this sucks, I'm getting out of here, was an understanding. So then you start seeing the repercussions of that understanding affecting the waning, and it determines the quality of the next conjunction. If both people are missing each other, for example, both planets are missing and they're wanting to be back together and they're being pulled back together, it's like magnetism is kind of pulling it back together. The conjunction is like really a vitalizing time. If they haven't resolved things, if they had bad connections, things have gone wrong, the waning phase, the end says, oh boy, I'm in trouble. It comes back, they're coming back. By the time they can get to the conjunction, they're supposed to let go of the past and start new, but they can dump the negativity of the past or a negative awareness or a positive awareness. Wow, it's so good to see you. Boom, zonk. Okay, so you got the repercussions of awareness coming in to affect the new activity, the new conjunction. It's primal. It's just basic understanding of life and relationships. So, I mean, astrology is a study of relationships, of time and relationships. But really, it's a understanding of relationships to the stars, to the planets, to each other, to us, to each other, and how things affect each other by correspondence, how similar patterns have relevance. So once we put the conjunction, if we look, then we have the 90-degree aspects. We have the two squares, a waxing square and a waning square. So on this drawing, in the next drawing, we'll come back and we'll put on the ICMC in this. But here we have the half, anything that's within 90 degrees of the conjunction, is on an activity. It's kind of on an activity half. It's towards the conjunction, going back to it or away from it. The squares, the waxing and the waning squares are the struggles or stress factors in going from conjunction, from activity to pushing and seeing how far we go, to having to adjust to the pressures of other people to make headway in affecting other people, which requires adjustment, not just pure force. So there's the conjunction hemisphere and the opposition hemisphere. So, anything on one side to the other side of a conjunction is going to be waxing or waning. Anything that's closest in the chart to a conjunction, so if you're looking at a planet, there's any planet within 90 degrees either way, that's closest to the conjunction. That's in the conjunction hemisphere. And the same with anything on the opposite, it's in the opposition hemisphere. So these moving towards or coming from activity, it's coming, that's active. One half is trying to understand or fathom or align things a little differently. That's the understanding half. So it seems like trite or trivial little words, but they're not. They're very profound statements that have many layers of experiential insight. When this can be seen, oh, look at that. Oh, look at that. It's always like a flower, a petals of a flower unfolding. One more insight, one more petal opens up. Oh, look at that. Oh, it's there too. Okay, so our closest idea of relationships are to the people in our lives that we come in conjunctions, people in our family, our mother, our father, brothers, sisters, uncles, aunts. We have our circles, and they come, they go, and we're affected. That's our history. Well, not much more different than the moon moving around from the sun and running into other planets and other things along the way, and getting far away from home, and then getting back to home, and same sort of thing. Yeah, but normally we're just, in astrology, generally you just calculate, so, oh, that's a square, that's 90 degrees away, that's a square. But there is a big difference in the waxing and a waning square between something you're pushing and going on and running into interference because you're pushing a little extra harder and you're running into resistance from others and you have to make the extra effort to prove it to them. The other is you understand where everyone else is and you got a sense of what you can or can't do. It's not your move after other people, whatever, and you're going along with that understanding. Sooner you can't just leave it to everyone else, and you have to start pushing for something you want yourself, not just the way everyone's going. That's the waning square, to push back to your own conjunction. So one is pushing from activity to understanding, and it's an adjustment, a struggle to have to, okay, I can't just run on this. Oh, I realize there's some competition. I'm going to have to make some adjustment here. Okay, but they get to the opposition, you realize there's me and them, and there's another. I understand this. Now I have to be aware there's always this opposition going to be there, and I'm understanding it, and I'm trying to, but I'm moving with that understanding, and at a certain point, I can't. By the time you get to the square, you can't just go on the opposition, on the understanding anymore. You have to. There's pressure coming in. You're mad because people aren't doing it the way you want. You're frustrated. And you're having to make an adjustment to trying to get things working for yourself. And that's the last part of this phase back, last waning phase back to conjunction. So these squares are both struggles to adjust. They're both adjustment points, but between them, the conjunction half is the activity, and the opposition half is the awareness. Like so, the squares are caught between opposition, activity, and awareness. I know what I'm doing. Do you realize what you're doing? Yes, I know what I'm doing. No, you don't. And then you're oh yeah, watch this. Okay. Or you think I should do this? I think it's okay. No, I don't think it's okay. I don't think you should do this. I got to do this. I can't just listen to you. I got to try and do. Or either way, you're being pushed from the waning square to make the adjustment, but it's being based on your understanding of others, which talking to someone else about whether you should sleep with someone or not is really a secondary condition. And if you're doing that, you're probably not going to get the experience of the conjunction to begin with. It's something dynamic between the two people involved. But when it becomes a social gossipy, other people's opinion, you did that, oh, you were there, oh my goodness, then you got the opposition, the awareness that you're getting further away from the activity. And so much can happen around a little moon cycle, around any cycle. We fill it up with experience.